Picture this. You wake up, go through your daily routine, and sometimes wonder, what's the point of it all? Existentialism tackles that very question. It's a philosophy that dives into the meaning of life, freedom, and personal responsibility. Simply put, it's about figuring out our place in a world that doesn't always offer clear answers. Alright, let's rewind a bit. Imagine existentialism as the philosophical equivalent of a hip new dance craze, something fresh and totally unconventional. Our story begins with Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher who's like the OG trendsetter of existentialism. Picture him as the fashion designer of this movement. He believed that life's meaning comes from our personal choices and commitment. He famously said, "Subjectivity is truth. Subjectivity is reality." Basically, he's saying that what's true for you is defined by your personal experiences. So, when you feel like you're stuck in a bad fashion trend, Kierkegaard would say it's your unique style that matters most. Then comes Friedrich Nietzsche, the rock star of existentialism. Imagine Nietzsche with a leather jacket and sunglasses, declaring, "God is dead. Now, don't panic." He wasn't talking about a literal apocalypse, but rather suggesting that traditional beliefs don't provide the meaning they once did. Instead, Nietzsche encouraged us to create our own values and meaning. Think of it as designing your own rock anthem of life. Now, let's fast forward to the 20th century. Enter Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir, the dynamic duo of existentialism. Sartre, the French philosopher with a flair for dramatic statements, said, "Existence precedes essence." In other words, we're not born with a preset script. We write our own life stories. It's like being the lead actor in your own movie, improvising every scene. And then there's Simone de Beauvoir, Sartre's partner in both philosophy and life. She argued that one is not born, but rather becomes a woman. She was spotlighting how societal expectations shape our identities. So, if you're feeling like you're stuck in a role you didn't audition for, de Beauvoir's message is, take control and rewrite your story. Let's break down some key ideas of existentialism with a touch of everyday fun. First up, imagine you're on a never-ending treadmill. No matter how hard you run, it feels like you're going nowhere. Albert Camus, another existentialist rock star, called this sensation the absurd. In his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus suggested that while life might seem inherently meaningless, we should embrace the struggle and find joy in the process. So, make your treadmill run epic. Dance, sing, or pretend you're training for a marathon. Next, think about those overwhelming moments when you're faced with a big decision. Existentialists believe that with freedom comes the responsibility to make choices that reflect who you really are. Imagine being handed the keys to your dream car. You get to choose the destination, and you're in charge of the road trip. Every decision is like a new adventure, so buckle up and enjoy the ride. Moving on, have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions, not really being yourself? Existentialism encourages us to live authentically. It's like being the star of your own reality show. Play yourself, not a character someone else wrote for you. Embrace your quirks and unique style, and make your life's plot twist a surprise. Finally, let's talk about existential angst. This is the anxiety that hits when we realize that life doesn't come with a user manual. It's normal to feel uneasy, but instead of letting it get you down, existentialism encourages us to face it head-on and use it as a springboard for growth. Think of angst as the challenge level in a video game. Conquer it to level up. Existentialism has left its mark on literature, art, and culture in some pretty wild ways. Let's check it out. In literature, Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis is like a surreal roller coaster ride of existential angst. Imagine waking up one day as a giant insect. Kafka's story captures feelings of isolation and identity with a touch of bizarre humor. In film, directors like Jean-Luc Godard and Ingmar Bergman have explored existential themes with flair. Godard's Breathless and Bergman's The Seventh Seal are like philosophical blockbuster hits that make you question everything from meaning to death. And let's not forget art. Edvard Munch's The Scream is an iconic piece that captures existential despair with a splash of drama. Meanwhile, Jackson Pollock's abstract works let us feel the chaos and intensity of existential struggles. Existentialism's impact stretches into modern culture in intriguing ways. Movies like Fight Club and The Matrix dive into existential questions about identity, reality, and freedom. These films challenge us to rethink our perceptions and dive into the rabbit hole of self-discovery. In today's digital age, existential questions about self-identity and meaning are more relevant than ever. Social media and digital culture have created new platforms for existential reflection as we navigate our virtual lives and seek genuine connections in an increasingly mediated world. As we wrap up our exploration of existentialism, we find that this philosophical movement offers profound insights into the nature of human existence. Existentialism challenges us to confront the absurdity of life, embrace our freedom, and live authentically in a world without inherent meaning. Existentialism encourages us to find our own path, create our own values, and face the existential angst with courage and resolve. As Jean-Paul Sartre famously said, "We are our choices." In a world where meaning is not given but made, existentialism invites us to take responsibility for our lives and find our own way. Thank you for joining us on this philosophical journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive into existentialism, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to PHI for more thought-provoking content. And remember, in the quest for understanding, the journey itself is as important as the destination.